Manhattan ground, Sirius 524, Charlie Charlie.
I don't think anybody's monitoring.
Charlie Charlie, Manhattan ground, how do you hear?
I read you loud and clear now. I'm just looking for an IFR to Papa Tango Kilo.
I think maybe we got let me try my COM 1.
And ground, Sirius 524, Charlie Charlie. I wasn't picking anything up. Do you hear me now on 121.8?
Roger, have you loud and clear, help me?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, I was just looking for my IFR to Papa Tango Kilo.
Roger, so the ground controller is currently on the phone with Marshall GC8 getting your outbound IFR clearance. Just give us a minute, we'll get it to you.
Okay, thanks very much.
So I was being impatient. That was him saying, you're being impatient. So, spoiler alert, I did not take my check ride. And I'll get into that once I get into my level cruise. I'm trying not to be sour grapes about it, but did not happen.
524 Charlie Charlie, how do you hear?
Loud and clear.
524 Charlie Charlie, got your clearance.
Ready to copy.
524 Charlie Charlie, you're cleared as filed, maintain 7,000. Departure frequency 12125, squawk 1127.
All right, cleared Papa Tango Kilo as filed. Climb maintain 7,000, 121.25 and 1127 for the squawk. 524 Charlie Charlie.
Right back, Rick.
All right, 1127. And let's go back to this and go flip that and go 121.25. Enter that. Tower is in there. And we're expecting runway 21. Let's zoom in here. Echo Alpha to 21 probably.
And ground, Sirius 524 Charlie Charlie, we're at the east ramp, we're ready to taxi.
524 Charlie Charlie, runway 21 via Echo Alpha.
21 via Echo Alpha, 524 Charlie Charlie.
Clear over here. Wild flying in Kansas, I can tell you that much. Windy, windy, windy. It was now averaging 17 to 25. Some of the times it was gusting past 30, 35. Good training though, really good training. All right, we've got 7,000, we've got heading bugged for the runway. We're on Echo, taxiing to Alpha to 21. Got tower frequency in there, we've got that in there. The flight's going to be pretty uneventful until the end. We've got some icing and stuff going on, but a lot of that's going to be moving out towards the end. High winds, but they're right down the runway. And I just was training in the most insane winds I've ever flown in, so I feel my confidence is high. We were literally doing power off 180s when it was a gusting quartering headwind of over 30 knots. I was greasing a couple of them. No wind, I was greasing them. The commercial maneuvers are fun, and I feel like I have truly, I've got them down now. I flew for over 8 hours over the past 2 days. So just ripping through stuff. we'll get into that once we get established in the climb and cruise here. Critical phases. Shut up. That's good. That's good. No recirc, no. Circuit breakers are all good. No cast messages. Scoreboard looks good. Holding short.
And tower Sears 524 Charlie Charlie, we are holding short of 21.
November 524 Charlie Charlie, Manhattan Tower, hold short runway 21 for half hour release.
Holding short of 21, 524 Charlie Charlie.
So I've been sitting on the ground after I found out my check ride got canceled. I was sitting on the ground because I was pissed. I'm not gonna lie. I was pissed and go through that I'm safe checklist.
Sears 4 Charlie Charlie, turn left heading 150, runway 21, clear for takeoff.
150, clear for takeoff, 21, 524 Charlie Charlie.
All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. There is a restricted area up here, another Class Delta Air Force Base. Nobody's on final, 50% flaps, mixtures full rich, 150 on the heading. Nice and smooth, everything's looking good in the green. There's full power. Good engine, good airspeed. Back in the sky. Big old hawk there. Feet out of runway, flaps up.
600.
Caps is available.
Sears 4 Charlie Charlie, turn left heading 150, contact departure 121.25.
Left to 150 and over departure 121.25. 4 Charlie Charlie, what's it?
Go autopilot on.
Departure Sears 524 Charlie Charlie, 2.2 climbing 7,000, 150 on the heading.
November 524 Charlie Charlie, Marshall departure, radar contact, and what heading do you need to go on course for Zorro?
069 on the heading, 4 Charlie Charlie.
Sears 4 Charlie Charlie, proceed on course.
Proceed on course, 4 Charlie Charlie.
All right, let's get our climb checklist going. And we'll go direct to Zorro. Going to nav mode. Climb power set, flaps are upped and verified, mixture's leaning. Engine looks perfect, fuel pump is on boost. Got some fires down here, smoky smoke. So anyway, now that I'm kind of stable in the climb here, and as I was saying before I got clear for takeoff there, was that, you know, the I'm safe checklist came in handy because, you know, the emotional part of like being angry or whatever, like I was pissed, and you know, the last thing you want to do is go flying when you don't have a clear head. So I literally sat there for, I don't know, solid hour. I took some time to flight plan, and you know, there's, like I said, there's definitely some weather to contend with where I'm at, and I considered maybe staying, you know, but it would turn out to be a safe flight, or I didn't have concerns really. So yeah, the I'm safe checklist, real world example of that for sure. Just let myself kind of chill out and really put things in perspective. And you know, I'm not usually a mad guy. Like, I don't get mad about stuff really. because at the end of the day, like, if these are my problems, like, it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, I'll just give you my review here. And I'm not here to slam anything. Like, you know, sometimes things just are what they are.
Sirius 4 Charlie Charlie, contact Kansas City Center 123.8.
23.8 for 4 Charlie Charlie. So.
Roger.
Check in with him here. Nobody's on frequency.
Kansas City Center, Sirius 524 Charlie Charlie. 5800 climbing 7000.
524 Charlie Charlie, Kansas City Center. Good afternoon. This is big altimeter 2993.
93, good afternoon.
So yeah, I'm not like I'm not gonna come on here and bash anybody or like leave negative reviews or like be all salty dog about it. Because at the end of the day, last 3 days I got great training. I learned a lot. I got all my endorsements for taking my check ride. The only thing that we weren't able to do was do the check ride. And what had happened was the original DPE that they had scheduled is a corporate pilot, and he got called away. You know, that's part of the problem, or I'll put it this way. If you're going to do an accelerated course, I would highly recommend asking the question. Sorry, just getting interrupted by chatter. So yeah, what I didn't ask and what I would strongly recommend you asking if you do an accelerated course was to ask if they have a full-time or on-staff DPE. I don't think it's a super common thing, but it would have come in really handy because the DPE that they were using, and I know they did have one at one point, but I think he passed away is what they said. And you know, having that wild card is a problem. It's kind of like weather. Like the day your check ride, you could have bad weather. I was prepared that could happen, and I was like, all right, there's nothing you can do about that. But I would have assumed that the DPE wouldn't be an issue. So I was supposed to take. I went there for my class, and if you haven't seen my other videos, it was an accelerated commercial course. It was a 3-day, and then the 4th day you're supposed to take your test. So I got there on Thursday, flew in Thursday, trained Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was supposed to have my test on Monday. I got word that the DPE was not going to be available Monday, and he was searching for a new one. Thankfully, he found one, and it was supposed to be scheduled for this afternoon. But apparently that DPE's first student had a lot of issues with his paperwork, and it was getting off to a bad start, so he had called and said, hey, we can't do it today. All that long story long is I didn't think that would be the issue. I didn't think an exam, that's literally why I came out to do an accelerated course, is to have access to that DPE. Because before I came out there, I had 27 hours of experience, and this was kind of like a last-minute finisher. That's the other thing I would say about these accelerated, well, I don't know other accelerated courses, but I just say, I think in general, my opinion on it is that these should be treated as finishers. Like, because if you went in there totally cold, like, it wouldn't have worked. Like, you have to have, obviously you have to go there with your written finish, and so you've had to have already started the process. The instructor I was with, he was really great. He was really good, and I learned a lot about flying in high winds. I learned a lot about different techniques. Zero complaints about the instruction. And zero complaints about the process from end to end. Like, the only thing that stunk is that, you know, we had an issue coordinated DPE. And, you know, that's unfortunate because I flew for 4 hours away to try to help avoid that. But it is what it is. So my advice to you, if you're looking at an accelerated course, ask that question. Because, you know, you don't want that to be the limiting factor. Weather, totally could understand that. Sometimes it just is what it is. But, you know, oh well. So the good news is I'm going back with my endorsements and my IACR all filled out and submitted and all that stuff. So I've got 60 days to find a DPE and take the check ride. And I feel very ready for it. But you know how that goes. That goes away quick. So Michigan's got crap weather. So I'm hoping I can find a weather window that we can find. I text my original instructor and said, hey, this is what happened. He's like, all right, we'll start making some phone calls and see what we can line up. You know, it is what it is. I try to take the high road on and just say, hey, I did learn a lot. It was a good experience, and it is what it is. I'm not flying back with that in the past, but at the same time, I'm not going to be all mad and, you know, what's that going to do? Nothing. So those are my tips for you. I would do that if you're in a similar position as me. So now I just got to settle in here. About 3 hours. I'm going to climb up to 9,000. I'm at 7,000 right now. Getting knocked around pretty good here at 7,000. Got a great tailwind though. We're over 200 knots over the ground. Yeah, so I'm just going to settle in and kind of monitor the weather as we're getting closer to home base. About 3 hours. I'll pick you up on the descent. All right, altimeter set, landing light is on, fuel quantity is good and balanced. Are good, brake pressure is good. They said we can get the visual. The weather was saying it was at 2,500. So we're on the descent into Pontiac. Been a pretty quick flight. It's only been 3 hours. Like 4 hours and 20 minutes when I went there. What a tailwind will do for you. Sending to 4,000.
Series 4 Charlie Charlie, some reports of some trace rime on the descent, and base is around 3,200. I'll have a load for you with the next sector.
Copy all, thanks, 4 Charlie Charlie.
Learjet have you just reported light rime in his descent.
All right.
Series 4 Charlie Charlie, contact approach 132.35, help go.
3235, we'll see you, 4 Charlie Charlie.
We've primed our ice system and we'll just go ahead and kick it on since the Learjet said he was getting light rime.
Detroit approach, Series 524 Charlie Charlie, 7.8 descending 4,000.
524 Charlie Charlie, Detroit approach, roger.
Throttled back, thinking it'd be a little bit more bumpy through here. So there's one layer. Went in at about 7,800. Wasn't paying attention. But it was a thin layer. We'll call this top at 7,500. Clean wing so far. Nothing on the windscreen.
So 4 Charlie Charlie, just to maintain 3,000, leave 5,000, 2 minutes or less.
3,000 and 5,000, 2 minutes or less, 524 Charlie Charlie.
Give him a little better rate down. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird little layers there. There's one. We're back out at 6,500. Where it's going to get bumpy. Lots of wind. Gusting 30, it said on the ATIS, or...
04 Charlie Charlie, flying 090.
090, 4 Charlie Charlie. We picked up, 4 Charlie Charlie picked up light rhyme starting at 5,000.
Fort Charlie Charlie, so you got light rhyme?
Yeah, it just started at 5,000 though.
Roger. Fort Charlie Charlie should be in the clear by the time you get to 3.
No worries, thanks, 4 Charlie Charlie.
It's a pretty wild feeling to have really turbulent weather. The camera doesn't pick it up, but it's light, moderate turbulence right now, and it's super disorienting when you can't see anything for reference. It's a very, very bizarre feeling. You really just have to keep your scan going and lock in. Yeah, it is wild. Slow up here. Doesn't help that I'm going 175 knots over the ground. There we go. Let's squirt this windscreen for a second. Yeah, in the icing course, they talk about that windscreen, and if you're going to do it early. Don't want to be hitting that on final. .30 knots on the tail. All right, boost pumps on, mixture's full rich. Flaps are waiting on those. Get some power back in here, and we'll just keep it at 120 knots. Indicated anyway. I have the field in sight. Lovely freaking day. Welcome back to Michigan. I think I said that in the beginning when I left here. I said, oh, another lovely day in southeast Michigan.
And approach for Sears 5 to 4 Charlie Charlie, we have the field in sight.
4 Charlie Charlie, roger, I'll have that clearance for you here in just a minute.
I hate when I say that to them because I feel like they think I'm pressuring them to clear me for the visual. I was just trying to get it to where because sometimes they'll say, you know, airport, 11 o'clock, 10 miles or whatever it is, report in sight. So I was just trying to be ahead of that. So Detroit Approach, if you're listening, I wasn't trying to get you to clear me. I promise. Ooh, it is sporty. But from what I just flew in for the past 4 days, this is like old hat now.
4 Charlie Charlie, clear visual approach, runway 27 left, in contact Pontiac Tower. Have a good one.
Cleared visual 27 left and over to tower 524 Charlie Charlie. See you.
Zone 215, right, we're heading contact Detroit Departure.
Over to Detroit, transit 215.
Pontiac Tower, Sears 524 Charlie Charlie, visual 27 left.
Sears 524 Charlie Charlie, Pontiac Tower, wind 270, 15 gust 26, runway 27 left, clear to land.
Clear to land 27 left, 524 Charlie Charlie.
All right, gusting 26, but it's mostly down the runway. So this should be not that big of a deal. Just gonna extend my base here just a little bit more than I normally would. Yeah, we got 27 knots, direct cross right here. Pushing me out a little bit. We'll let it continue to push. Then we'll kind of cheat in on a little 45 here. Now we're gonna hit that wall of wind, turn it into it. A little high, that's okay.
Minimums.
Landing. gust there. That was like the softest little bounce there. The wind was just like keeping me up. It was wild. Like a kite. I felt, that's the most I've felt like it really, there was a pretty strong gust there. It just...
Sir, 4 Charlie, Charlie, where do you park?
Maven.
4 Charlie, Charlie, taxi, Charlie 7, Charlie. Have a good night.
Charlie 7, Charlie, and we'll talk to you later. 4 Charlie, Charlie.
All right, well, not a greaser, but all things considered, I'm fine with it. So, a gloomy end to a slightly disappointing trip. But that's all right. I got my instructor Thomas on the case, trying to find a DPE, and we'll get that done. I'm ready to do it, so we'll get it done. No worries.